continue to shift this around and sort of keep it, I'm not clear which of these things, this one's over my shoulder, so, and I think what we'll do is we'll just move this one around to whoever's speaking. And so I'm gonna have the thinking is that I'm gonna have the floor for, Zach and I are gonna have the floor, have a conversation about where we've been for during the first 10 minutes. Then the notion is we'll open the floor up to 3 minutes for each person to address these things that are in bold, first name, last name, describe the work that has brought you the most joy, describe what you'd like most to get out of this meeting, and if you know, describe what you most would like to get from the weCreate company. If you know, because it's still early. I mean, for Christina, I can't imagine she has a clue what we're talking about. So, but you certainly know what you like to do for work, and you certainly would like to have some idea about why you came to the meeting, and you want to get something out of it. Intriguing. Okay. So, where we've been is Zach and I have. I realize that what we are doing is we are going through the 13-week process. When we are done, we will actually have just about spent 13 weeks getting to the point where we launch the weCreate company, which is fascinating to realize that that's actually, we're in this process. There are some ideas that Zach and I have been kicking around that are important to the company. One is a very complex one, and we'll describe it a little later, which is at least my vision for how the ownership works in the weCreate company. And Zach and I have discussed this, and I think we're on the same page with this, but we'll have a conversation in the third segment. We're going to do this in 5 segments. The first segment is Zach and I, this conversation, which is so far one-sided, and although I've only been talking for 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes. So the next one will be, I'm going to give the floor to Zach. So Zach and I will have this conversation at the beginning. The second segment is each of you getting three minutes. And then the third segment will be Zach and I with talking about the business concepts, and then we'll go to address the barbecue restaurant question as the first business that we create, and then the last thing will be a wrap up, just a wrap up, and that's 5 things. This as a rhythm may be what we always want to do. But it might be instead of 3 minutes per person, it may be 3 event planners, which is original thinking, that each present for 5 minutes. Or whatever it is we want to address. So that's the thinking, is if we can break these meetings and have that and stick to this as a format, then we'll at least know what to be prepared for and how to prepare going forward. So that's the thinking, and I'm going to give the floor over to Zach for a while, and you can see what you've got for time, Zach, and we'll just spin the camera around, and it'll be 10? I'm sorry? We're going to 10, yeah. That's the thinking. So
some of you guys have heard this, but basically this started, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks ago. A conversation we had at Starbucks, and this whole weCreate, the first concept of it was, let's offer a group consulting class where from it we would be the consultants teaching about business concepts. We would teach business concepts to local business people, and from that they could have a inexpensive way to have access to consultants, learn about business concepts that a lot of business owners struggle with, and at the same time I could sell and Thomas could sell our one-on-one consulting service basically to these people. So that's where it started. Now another goal I shared during that was I want to just be a part owner of a lot of different companies, and I want to have an incubator where I just help small businesses grow and I take part of the equity. So then we started thinking about how could we teach these concepts in an interesting way, and eventually we came to the conclusion that why don't we teach people, instead of it being a formal lecture where we're lecturing about marketing one day or lecturing about sales or lecturing about bookkeeping, that we actually go and create a company from scratch and talk about the push-ups and sit-ups, or the basics of what it takes to run a successful business. And in doing that and in structuring that way, it opened up the market to not just current entrepreneurs who want to learn, but also people who want to go there just to contribute, whether they want to contribute their knowledge or their resources financially. It turned into people who don't have jobs that maybe want to get a job at the new company that we create. It turned into thinking about vendors who want to come and sell their services to the new business, but also to the business owners in the room. And we've been in enough groups, and I'm sure you guys have, where you realize the power of group dynamics, and that you can't always pinpoint what's going to happen when you have a group of people together, but you usually know something good's going to come from it if it's managed and organized the right way. Because everyone around this table has knowledge that I don't have, and everyone around here can deliver it in a different way that I can't deliver it, that other people can relate to. So we know that there's some sort of magic that gets created when we have a group together. So then the mission was, okay, how do we build this company that creates these new companies and that puts on this kind of group consulting curriculum to teach people about the push-ups and sit-ups of business? And it came up, all right, let's build a board of directors, a core group that's that weCreate group that will help launch this company, that will help spread the word about it, that will help facilitate the meetings, you know. And how do we do that? Well, that was Thomas's job, to just talk to everyone he knows and invite them to come to meetings. And over the last few weeks we've met, some of you guys have heard part of the vision, and I think in the next 5 weeks the goal is really to, from where I'm coming from, where we're going with this. So I talked about where we are, where we were, where we are, where we're going, is to organize all of our thoughts and our vision and what I just said and put it on paper. And to help you guys first figure out, do you want to be part of it? And secondly, figure out how do you want to be part of it? What role do you want to play? You know, what's your highest and best use in the creation of weCreate, which has the objective to teach and create new companies. So that's...
Okay, so this is part of the where, let's just spin that around the other way and see if I'm too big, because my nose is too big, because I moved the telephoto piece in a bit, so you may want to pull it back a little bit that way. Zach and I have great voices. We have voices that project really well, and this turns into a potential problem because the person with the loudest voice oftentimes shouts over everybody else and gets heard, and that's a problem, you know. And then I recognize that, and so part of giving people the floor is that they're guaranteed to have a time. And one of the things that's really important is for all of us to be stakeholders, shareholders in this company, and you have to be heard. That is the most important thing about what we're doing, is that we are building a company, we're building community. The goals for the sum up the goals for what we're trying to do in the next 5 weeks to the launch of this company is to build community. So we need to have meetings outside, and a lot of us know each other outside of this context, so that's great for building community. The other thing is that we want to get everything down on paper and actually, frankly, publish a book, an ebook and or a hardbound book that is our syllabus, our instruction manuals. This is what we do. It turns out that most great businesses will tell you exactly how they do it, and then which invites the competition to copy them. And that's the kind of cool thing, is that for a long time nobody pays attention to you. You know, that's nuts. You can't do this. You can't create a company that creates companies. And this you can't do it, and you certainly can't do it in 13 weeks. And that's the goal. So I just got this thing, which was quite cool, which is a book for my healthcare, and I realized this is it. It's an instruction manual, exactly the kind of thing that we hope to be producing in the next 5 weeks or 4 weeks. Launch date, we're thinking now, is somewhere between March 3rd and March 31st. We're going to aim for March 3rd as the launch date. And we'll talk in the middle about what that means. But the other thing I want to say is Kathy couldn't make it today, but she in fact said she would put down what she had to say on paper. So when we're doing this 3 minutes, which is the next segment, we should reset that to 3 minutes. And you press all of them to get it to go to 0. And then you press that's it. And so, and then that's how you start that. And I don't know of a better way of doing this. I'm all for it. There is a thing for Toastmasters where you actually have a clock that everybody can see, and it's on a notebook computer, but we'll get to there. So I'm gonna read Kathy's thing but I don't wanna keep talking, so let's start with maybe Jackie, and Jackie takes 3 minutes and here are the